So let's get into the rewind.
Weekly Rewind.
All right, if you saw the barn burner last night, the
You talk about Lance Dunbar's knee?
I think 99 we will talk about that in just a second. I was going to say 99 out of 100 times when the ball hits the upright like that, at that part of the upright, it goes through, and somehow, some way, it didn't go through, but they still got the job done. So he got bailed out.
And people, we've heard from some listeners that they like to hear about our league. So this is worth mentioning, I have to say. We had two guys playing last night head-to-head. They were tied. One guy was up 1 point, and he had the Saints kicker. He was up 1 point. He kicks the field goal. He misses. He gets -2 points.
For missing a 30-yarder.
And then we go into overtime. You think, okay, well, there's still a very good chance that the field goal kicker will
win the game.
Get some points. But C.J. Spiller won the game, and he lost because of that field goal.
The clank equaled the loss.
Was amazing.
So in that game, Lance Dunbar tore his ACL, MCL. That's the
we think.
Yeah, I was going to say that's not known, but that's the.
He did something terrible.
Oh,
yeah, it's not good.
Looked no fun.
So I think the implication here is I'm buying. I know it sounds crazy because of the yards per carry, but I'm buying Joey Randle in a lot of leagues because the opportunity for he'll have goal line, at least some of the goal line work, and then he's going to be on third down now with more opportunities to catch the ball. So there's just like a floor for Randle that I really like out of an RB2.
Yeah, what would not surprise me, though, is if they go and they buy a third down back. Like Pierre Thomas is still available. Ahmad Bradshaw. There's third down guys that you can get, and I would not be surprised to see them pick somebody up.
Yeah, that's not a bad call. Reminder to everybody, Antonio Gates and Martavis Bryant are eligible to return this week from their suspensions. So this means probably good things for Rivers and that offense, although Ladarius Green caught a touchdown this week. And then, well, that's good for Gates then.
Yep.
Martavis Bryant will return, but he will return without Big Ben.
Yeah, I still like him. And he's great just in general for that offense. Hayward Bay has been serviceable and worked out for that team, but he is not Martavis Bryant. Bryant really opens up the field for everybody. I mean, you kind of had to figure Le'Veon Bell is going to be the biggest benefactor as far as fantasy production when Big Ben went down because they're going to have to lean on the run a little bit more. But Martavis Bryant opens that up even more for Le'Veon Bell, and he helps Antonio Brown. This is great news for the Steelers.
And Vick can throw the ball really far.
Yes, he can do that.
And I believe in the preseason he had a long one to Martavis.
And Bryant is also the type of guy who can get yards after the catch in a much bigger fashion than Hayward Bay. So he'll be much better when Big Ben comes back, but I agree with you, Mike. I'm willing to start him this coming week.
You're willing to start him?
I am, yeah.
I am not.
No?
Nope.
We'll have to look
I'm not starting the wide receiver 2/3 of a Michael Vick offense in his first week out.
I think that's completely fair. But this week, when we look for our games ahead, we'll have to find a water bet there.
Fair enough. Let's talk about Andrew Luck. He did not play, missed his first game as an NFL quarterback.
They didn't need him in Indianapolis.
Oh, they needed him. That darn Jaguar
lost
kicker.
That game.
I'm saying this. My friend said this last week. I would pay Justin Tucker $20 million a year. The amount of teams that either lost or almost lost on the foots of kickers that had easy kicks, I mean, it's just ridiculous. If he makes either of those field goals in the Jacksonville Colt game, the Jaguars win that game, and they get lucky, so to speak, not having to face him.
It's not fair to be able to trade away Josh Scobie and still have him. That's
the ghosts.
Either way, they're in a bad position.
I have actually started my son on a regiment to become an NFL kicker now.
Yeah, well,
they need him. The kickers are needed.
The problem is
you can make some sweet cash, and you barely ever get hit.
Yeah, you lose your job every 30 seconds.
Not if you're dominant.
No, teach him to be a dominant kicker. That's
why I'm teaching him right now.
There you go. I got my kids starting soccer today, so
that's what you got to do.
You got a chance for that. So, let's talk about Luck real quick, though. The Colts are expecting to have him on Thursday. This could be gamesmanship, though, if he is really still hurt. So, real quick, do you expect Andrew Luck to start on Thursday Night Football?
I feel about 50-50 right now. maybe 51%
Jason?
that he plays.
No, I'm exactly the same, 50-50, and I don't think we can make any predictions before we see whether or not he's practicing. I mean, that's, it would be silly to say make a decision now, so I have no idea.
Cecil Shorts dislocated his shoulder. Stevie Johnson has a strained hamstring.
Yeah.
Daniel Fells has foot surgery, likely headed to the IR. Donnell had a good game.
Yeah. He's
caught
fine.
a few passes. And then the kind of dumpster fire that is the Miami Dolphins current roster coaching situation. ESPN's reporting that head coach Joe Philbin is probably going to be fired. Now, the Roto-World reported that it might be the defensive coordinator that takes the fall right now because they didn't like anybody that they could bring in the interim. However, this team is not good.
Shoo.
The play calling is just it's a majestic thing almost. It's just such a car crash to watch the choices that they make, where the game was actually not it was out of hand, and then they started coming back, and there was a sequence of events where they were on around the 3 or 5 yard line, and they didn't run the ball a single time. Throw. Got bailed out by a penalty. Then throw.
How many touchdowns did they get out of that?
They got 0.
Yeah. And that's not even the first game they did that. They did that last week too. And what's going to happen here is if Philbin is fired, they're still going to probably keep Bill Lazor, who's calling the plays anyways, and maybe nothing changes. If Bill Lazor goes out, I'm much more happy about the changes in Miami because then they'll have to be a team that calls run plays more than 7 a game.
I still believe that the front four on that defensive line and whatever they're doing there is not working. I mean, that those 4 guys were sack masters last year.
What about
you bring in Sue, and they have 0 across the front 4 defensive line.
0 sacks, but Sue did have a sweet kick to, I think it was Fitzpatrick's head.
Well, you do one of those a game. Because no matter where you go, Detroit, Miami, you can always kick the other team when they're beating you.